Hello, Space Watchers, and welcome back to our weekly nugget. This week entitled Emma tries to read 52 pages report and try to summarize them for you in 3 minutes. So the report is the very recent World Economic Forum Insight report titled Space $1.8 trillion opportunity for global economic growth. The report is produced in partnership with McKinsey & Company and was published in just a few weeks ago in April 2024. So first of all, the report is well done. It's quite interesting. So if you feel to dedicate an afternoon to it, just go for it. It adds something to the discourse. It says something different from the previous reports. For example, the one that we know from Bryce Tech or for Deloitte. So what is different? What is this report adding to the discourse? So the interesting part is related to the fact that the World Economic Forum report for the first time has reported on something that I think was very important, which is the distinction between space-based technology and space-enabled technology, and it quantifies both. So for years, the question in the previous reports in 2022, for example, was like, okay, what is included in this calculation? What defines the boundaries of space economy? If I'm taking a taxi, and this taxi uses a satellite service to put me in contact with the driver, is that considered space economy? And this was one of the bigger problems. So in 2022, the space economy was estimated to reach $1 trillion by 2040. And now this more recent report says 1.8 trillion by 2035. So the number have slightly changed, have improved. But again, regardless the numbers, what is interesting is the definition that this report, the World Economic Forum reports, gives the distinction between the different services. So what they say is that we have two types of sectors. We have what they call the backbone application, which are those revenues that accumulates directly into space hardware or space service providers, and is what we call usually the upstream segment. And then the rich application, which are those revenues deriving from application of satellite services to something that is completely unrelated to space. For example, like application to flexible forms of mobility, or to the supply chain. The even more interesting part is the quantities, because they're able to quantify the different parts. And they say something very interesting. So the first detail is that today, 2024, slightly more than 50% of the entire domain is composed by the backbone application. That is around $330 billion. The remaining $300 billion, so slightly less than 50%, it's composed by the rich application. This is today. This is the situation in April 2024. However, in 10 years' time, by 2035, the study says that the situation will be different. The rich application domain will grow at nearly twice the rate of the backbone sector. So we're speaking about 7% growth averagely by 2035 for the backbone sector and 11% growth for the rich application. In absolute numbers, it means that they are calculating $755 billion for the backbone and $1 trillion for the rich sector. So what does that mean? It means that almost all the technologies will use satellite as part of their services, and the total growth will depend more on the downstream part than the upstream part, or what they call more on the rich rather than the backbone. And obviously, the question is like, which will be the main driver of this growth? Which space-based application will grow faster than all the others in the next years? Unsurprisingly, and also rather unromantically, will be location-based services. PNT, positioning, navigation, and timing, will be the faster growth sector based on this report, and flexible forms of mobility like vehicle sharing apps and ride-hailing apps are projected to grow from 60 billion to 300 billion by 2035. So why do I say unromantically? Well, obviously because we have this idea of the space economy based on the ideal of going to the moon, reaching Mars, exploring the universe. But the truth is that the commercial interest, the money, are in taxis and cars on our very own Earth. I really would like to see how this will work out between these fast-growing car navigation apps and the desire of space to attempt to support the slowdown of global warming. This is going to be an interesting conflict of interest, in my opinion. Anyhow, This is for today. I hope you find it useful. I hope you find it enjoyable. And if you thought that this video is useful for someone else, feel free to comment, feel free to share, and feel free to invite friends to join our newsletters and subscribe. That's it for today, and SpaceWatch out.